We were in the middle of the Rashi. The end of the Rashi on Pasuk Yud. Mordechai, I think, were you in the middle of reading or you read? No, you weren't reading.
I wasn't yesterday.
You weren't yesterday.
Let him read. He's good for it.
Anyway, Shlomo, I think you had already read?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I tell you what, I'm just going to finish off the Rashi over here.
Where are we? I'm sorry.
Pasuk Yud. 1 second.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Pasuk Yud. Okay? I'm just going to read it over. V'kidashtem. Yeah. Pasuk Yud. V'kidashtem eis shnas ha'chamishim shana. You shall sanctify this 50th year. Ukrosem deror. You shall pronounce freedom ba'aretz in the land. L'kol yoshveh, for all its inhabitants. Yovel hi tiyeh lochem. This year should be for you as Yovel. V'shavtem. You shall return each each man to his holding, each mishpachto, and each man to his family. Toshuva, you shall return. Okay. Now, so the Rashi says over here. We're up to the Rashi. Yovel he. It says written who, but it's he. Shona zois muvdeles mishar shonim. This year is different from all other years, but nekivas shem lo. It has a special name to it. Umar Shema, what's his name? Yovel Shema. It's called Yovel al Shem Tkiyas Shofar, on account of Tkiyas Shofar. And the idea behind it is, we mentioned yesterday, Yovel is a ram. Okay? And therefore, since on Yom Kippur of Yovel, you blow Shofar, that's the Yom Kippur of Yovel is unique. Once in 50 years you'll blow Shofar on Yom Kippur, just like we do every year on Rosh Hashanah. So therefore, since the ram's horn is called a Yovel, that's where the name comes from, Yovel. So therefore, that's why it's called the Jubilee year, because on account of the blowing of the shofar in the Jubilee year. V'shavtem ish al achuzasoi shasodois choizros lebaaleim. Okay, this is what's going to be mentioned at the end of the parsha over here, and partially in Bukhakosa as well, that fields, if I acquire a field from Reuben, buys a field from Shimon, okay, and this was Shimon's inherited property, then when Reuben buys it, he doesn't buy it lo'olam void. He buys it only up till the coming Jubilee year. And in the Jubilee year comes, the field goes back to its original owner. Whereas there's no such thing as permanent transfer of property, of fields, agricultural property, if what was originally sold was inherited property, meaning this is what he inherited from his fathers, this was their original, how would you say it, hereditary is not the right word.
Their portion?
Yeah, but it was like originally their heirloom property, that's the right word.
I think they use it.
No, it doesn't? An heirloom property?
Because an heirloom is something really special.
Well, passed down. Heirloom, something special passed down.
Yeah, but it's something really special. That's the thing. In other words, it's something that's only one of or two of or something like that.
And anyway, this field, this landed property of which was being in the family, because the original father, whatever, had received it as his portion in the land of Eretz Yisrael, then that land, if one of the descendants needs to sell it, you can only sell. The sale is only valid till the person who buys it only buys it till the Jubilee year, and then it goes back to its original owner. And similarly, the next thing, Ish mishpachto toshuvu, each man returns to his family, means an eved, the Jewish servant, is never permanently sold. Right? That he sells himself.
See, if he lives long enough.
Right. If he ostensibly sells himself for 6 years, but even if he he has his ear pierced, and he wants to stay longer, and we mentioned yesterday that Pasuk in Parshas Mishpatim says, that it sounds like he should remain forever as a servant. He should serve him forever. It doesn't mean forever. It means up till the Jubilee year. And that's what we learn after this passage. The rule is any person, no Jew remains a servant forever. Comes to the Jubilee year, every Jew goes back to his original family. Okay. Mordechai, Pasuk Yud Aleph.
Yovel he shinas ה-50 שנה תהיה בכם לא תזרעו ולא תצרו אספיכיה לא תצרו אס נזיריה.
Yovel he. Okay, it is Yovel Shnas ה-50 shana tiyeh lachem. Meaning the entire, as Rashi is going to point out over here, the entire 50th year should be a Yovel year for you. Lo sizro, you mustn't sow. Velo siktzu, plant anything. Velo siktzu esifichel, you shall not harvest what grows by itself in that year. Velo sivtzuru es nizireh, you shouldn't harvest, meaning in the grape sense, grape harvest, es nizireh, that which has been kept aside, put aside from everybody else. And this is basically the same idea. What we mentioned over here is what we mentioned regarding Shemitah previously in Pasuk Hey. There we said, Esfiach k'tzur chalo siktzor, ves invein nizireh chalo sivtzor. Okay, so the same idea over here as well. So look at Rashi here. Mordechai, Yovel he, you got it?
Yovel he shinas ה-50 שנה
Now Talmud Loma.
Talmud Loma.
Why does the Torah mention this? We already think, we know it's Yovel. Lefi shenema v'kidashtem es shnas ha-50 shana. Right? The previous passage says you shall sanctify the 50th year and you shall pronounce freedom in all the land. Now that, the East Rosh Hashanah b'Teres Kana. Rashi doesn't go ahead and explain, give the full explanation over here, but what Rashi is referring to as follows. At what point, when do servants go home? And when do fields go back to their original owner during the Yovel year? No, on Yom Kippur. So that because they have the shofar blowing, Kippur, that's an announcement, a pronouncement to everybody. Everybody go home.
Right, okay, so what happens in the interim period, the 4 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur?
More than 4 days.
11 days.
No, you have 11.
Well, 10, right.
9 days.
It's 9 days.
9 days.
What, it was a question that
Right.
we had this morning.
Okay, so this is what Rashi is pointing to. This is what the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says. Lamaisa, the entire 50th year, already starting from Rosh Hashanah, is already got a din of Jubilee year, that the freedom, in other words, the fields go back technically already from Rosh Hashanah, and similarly the servants are freed already from Rosh Hashanah. But it's like they've got 9 days to pack their bags. Yes, the owner is not allowed to work with them, to enslave them. They should act as a servant during those first 10 days from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. But they don't actually go home till after Yom Kippur.
And they can't farm or do anything.
They can't be enslaved at all.
No, but I mean the owner can't like sneak it.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's
I'm
mentioned
just
over here.
wondering, it seems to be a gap.
Okay, that's what basically what the Gemara explains over there. Okay, Es Nazireha. Anovim, es Anovim HaMeshumorim, which doesn't mean Nizirel, means the grapes that have been guarded and prevented from other people using them. Okay? So that's what he says. Es Nizirel, es Anovim HaMeshumorim. Avo Boitze Ato, you may be harvest. No, so as Nazir as Mavar Mishon. You may harvest from that produce which has been made hefka. It's been made ownerless. And that's what the Rashi summarizes. Kashem shenema b'shvius, kach nema b'yovel. In the same halachas, the same rules that were said regard to shvius, i.e., you may eat things that grow by themselves, but not if they've been guarded, meaning they've been not made ownerless. You're not allowed to eat that. So basically what it's telling you is two things, the pasuk here. It's telling you you mustn't harvest what grows by itself for yourself, meaning that you hold on to it. You harvest it, everything for yourself. You've got to make it hefka. And similarly, you mustn't harvest it. Same idea, gabe grapes as well. Those siftzuru es nizireh, that which has been set aside for yourself only, which has been cordoned off for everybody else, that you mustn't harvest as grapes. It means it's forbidden to even to eat it. So that's what Rashi says. That's what in the same rule was said for shvius. Kach nema b'yovel. So it was said by Yovel. Nimtzu shtei shonim kedoshes smucha zu lezu. We've got 2 sabbatical years, one after another. Shnas mem tes, the 49th year, Shemitah, u'shnas ha-chamishim yovel, in the 50th year yovel. So the Maisa, Chazal say that they would, Kosh Baruch would send a special bracha, as we're going to see later on in the parasha. Kosh Baruch would send a special bracha that the 48th year would provide them enough food for the 49th year, 50th year, and even part of the 51st year.
Because you still hadn't planted.
Right.
You've got to have a harvest.
You didn't harvest yet.
3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
Okay. Matt, Pasuk Yud Beis.
Okay. Ki Yovel, Heave, Kodesh.
Right.
It's just he. You don't pronounce the vav.
No.
Okay. Kodesh Tiyeh Lachem mean Hasadeh.
Yeah, wherever you have the wishbone, it tells you a little bit of a break.
Lachem mean Hasadeh Tochlu. Es Tevuasa. Okay. For it is a yovel. It shall be holy to you.
Rashi's going to explain what that means.
And from the field you may eat its crop.
Okay. Rashi's going to explain what that means as well.
Okay. Kodesh tiyeh lachem. It shall be holy to you.
What does that mean?
Tofeses dameha. It seizes its money. Kahekdesh, like that which is holy.
Now, what he means is as follows. I'll just explain to you what the concept is by hekdesh, and then we can understand what it means by shvius. Let's say the person has an object of his, a nice vase, okay? And he says, I want this vase, I want to give its value to hekdesh. I want this to be hekdesh. So he says, this vase is hekdesh. Now, hekdesh hasn't got much to do with the vase. So what do? You give it to the, well, there's 2 options in there. You can give it to the treasurer of hekdesh and he'll sell it. Or what you can do is, you say, listen, this vase is hekdesh. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of giving the vase to hekdesh, I'm going to redeem its value onto money. Okay? And give it the monetary worth to hekdesh, and then the vase will revert to being mine. Okay? Now, same thing is that shvius also has the same idea. Meaning, as we said before, that produce of the Shemitah year, even if it's permitted to eat, it has to be eaten with certain restrictions. which means that you've got to eat it in the proper way, not in an unusual way. You're not allowed to, the remains, you're not allowed to just throw in the garbage. You've got to put them in a special bin that they rot by itself. You can't quicken the rotting process. Various other things. You're not allowed to weigh it. You're not allowed to make a transaction with it. Various laws that apply to Shvius fruit. Now similarly, if let's say somebody has Shvius bananas, okay, let's say, and now somebody else comes along and says, yo, I would like some of those bananas. Here, take 20 shekel and I'm buying these 10 bananas or 20 bananas, shekel a piece, I want to buy these bananas. Okay? Now, besides having transgressed an issa of doing business with Shvius fruit, which you're not allowed to, but besides that, Reuven, let's say, who had originally had the bananas, now gave the bananas to Shimon, and Shimon gave him 20 shekel. That 20 shekel has now Kedusha Shvius.
It's redeemed a lot.
Right? It means it has the holiness, besides the fact that the original, when Shimon takes these bananas from Reuven, the fruit, the Shvius fruit, as we're going to see over here, remains with its original holiness and its restrictions of how it's going to be eaten. Not only that, the money exchanged for it also gets a din of Shvius. So therefore now, this money, let's say you go and buy steak with it, so that steak has to be eaten with Kedusha Shvius. Okay? So with all the restrictions which apply to the bananas, it applies to the steak as well.
So everything's being memorialized as you go.
Right, that's exactly what we're pointing out over here.
You buy a house with the money and the house is memorialized because...
No, so it only applies really to foodstuffs and things like that, to shayach.
Not things.
Not to inanimate objects or anything like that.
Right.
Okay. So let's see the Rashi. Tofeses domer kehektish. It seizes, literally, its monetary value, right, like hektish. So that's what we say. So therefore, Reuven gives his bananas to Shimon, and Shimon now gives the money to Reuven. So just like if Reuven would give a holy object, something, a sanctified object to the holy treasury, the Beis Hamikdash, the temple treasury. Okay, so he would give his object, the money which he got in exchange. Okay, would technically also, or let's say, to give an example, we make an exchange. Reuven would make an exchange with Shimon. Reuven would give his holy object to Shimon, and Shimon now gives his money for it to Reuven. So now we say, or rather gives it to the treasury. So we say that money now also gets a din of holy money, but the object itself loses its holiness. If you redeem it, let's say Reuven redeems it, so the original object which he had sanctified is no longer has a status of being holy, of its sanctity, but the money in exchange now does have a status of being holy. So therefore, just so similarly, Shvius as well, the fruit you gave over to Shimon, Shvius fruit, that money which you exchanged for it, the money also gets the status of Shvius holiness. In the same way as the fruit had a certain level of holiness, the money exchanged for it also gets that holiness. That's what it means. Yochel teitze hilochu. Then I might think, okay, just like when you compare it to hektish, so when you exchange hektish for money, and you want to say you want to redeem the hektish, so the hektish now becomes chulin, ordinary property, and the money now, in its stead, becomes holy. So I might think the same thing happens with Shvius. He says, no. Talmud lo matiyeh, habahav yosoteh, should be as it originally was. So it comes out, you with making an exchange with Shvius produce, you're going to come out losing at all ends, shall we say. Not losing, whatever, but the thing is the original fruit remains always with its original sanctity, and in addition, any money exchanged for it also gets the sanctity of the original Shvius fruit. So it can come out now that you have a whole chain. Okay? What I mean is as follows. The original Shvius fruit, I'll give an example. Reuven took his bananas and Shimon paid Reuven for his bananas, his Shvius bananas. Okay? So now Shimon has the bananas. They remain with their original Shvius status. And now the money Shimon has, Reuven, who now got the money from Shimon, that money which he now received from Shimon also has a status, that money also has a status of Shvius. It has the restrictions of Shvius produce. Now what happens now if Shimon takes those bananas which he received from Reuven, he bought from Reuven, and now he goes and sells them on to Levi. Again, Levi, the fruit, these bananas which Levi has, still remain with their Shvius status. And the money which Levi gave to Shimon for those bananas also has a status of Shvius. Okay?
It transfers.
Transfers. Continuous transfers. Whatever is exchanged for the original product. However, the money which Reuven now received for his bananas, his Shvius bananas, now he goes ahead and buys a steak with it.
Steak's holy.
So the steak is holy, but the money is no longer holy.
Because it got transferred from the money to the
So it doesn't
meat.
go, so it doesn't continue, meaning you're going to say, okay, the money and the steak are both going to have holiness. No, you don't go that far. The steak has the holiness, because he originally exchanged it for, Reuven exchanged it for the Shvius money which he had.
So
But
what
the
do you do?
money then loses its holiness.
Right, but then you can't just eat the steak unless you take it to the Beit HaMikdash.
No, you don't have to take this in English. No, you can eat it as well, but you've got to eat it with certain restrictions.
Then it ends.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Min hasodeh toichu. The next Rashi have it on that.
Okay, min hasadeh tochlu. From the field you may eat. Al yedei hasadeh. By means of the field. Ata ochel min habayis. You may habayis. You may eat from the produce that's in the house. She'im kala l'chaya min hasadeh. That if a particular variety of produce has been finished for the wild beast from the field, in other words, it's no longer freely available.
Right. It's not available in the field for the wild animals.
Tzarik ata, you're required leva'er min habayis. Habayis, to eliminate it from the house.
Right, so therefore in summation says, Kashem shenema b'shvius, same way as it said by the Shemitah year, the 7th year, Kach nema b'yovel, so is it said by the Yovel year. Which is, we mentioned this halacha, is man habil, that when are you allowed to own Shvius produce, to be able to eat it, because it doesn't say you're not allowed to, because you're not allowed to own large quantities. As a person has a field, you can't harvest the whole thing and say this is all for me. He's got to make everybody equal. It's equal ownership. But in the aspect of equal ownership, what he requires for his family, he's allowed to take home and have ownership over that. However, that's only as long as the fruit is available in the field, meaning for the wild animals in the field. Once it's no longer available in the field, then there's an obligation that whatever of this type of produce you have in the house, you've got to go out and make it hefty. You've got to declare it to be ownerless. And after such time, after you've declared it to be ownerless, you're allowed to eat it still, but only in a state of being ownerless. You're not allowed to reclaim it and bring it into your house and to reclaim ownership. Okay? So that was the halacha which we said by Shvius, and that applies to Yovel as well. So therefore, agriculturally, Shvius, the 7th year, the Shemitah year, and Yovel, the Jubilee year, both have the same status.
Goes already goes out. Goes back to the original owner, right?
Yeah, but that's something we're not mentioning this aspect. We're talking about the aspect of the agriculturally. You've got to let the field be hefka and all the fruit also be hefka. We mentioned this about was it yesterday, I think it was, the day before, about the person has Shvius produce, even though he's allowed to eat it, and it comes the time when it's no longer available for the animals in the field, the person's going to take out whatever he has, declare it to be ownerless, hefker, and then he is allowed to bring it back into his house, but not in a form of reclaimed ownership. It's going to be just like everybody else is allowed to eat it, he's allowed to eat it, but only as ownerless property. Okay, Yoni, please read Pasuk Yud Gimel.
בשנת היובל הזאת תשלחו איש אל אחוזתו. Now, the Yovel year, a man shall return to his.
Every man among you shall, each man, you shall return each man among you to his inheritance, into his holding. Right, it's his holding, his landed property.
Why did I mention it again?
Okay, we're going to see. Rashi's going to explain. You're asking Rashi's question.
Okay.
Okay, Yoni, you up to the Rashi?
She drank some water.
Yeah.
There we go, so Shuva V'shavtem ish el achuzasoi.
Right? You know, this is a repeat of what we've already said in Pasuk Yud, previously in Pasuk Yud.
This was already said, and V'shavtem. What was said, V'shavtem ish el achuzasoi.
So, right, where it says, you shall return each man to his holding, to his property. So what is this Pasuk adding? Elo Rabbos Hamoiches Sodehi. Somebody himself, he himself sold his field. Va'amad Benoi, and his son got up, V'gala, and he redeemed it. Shechoizeres la'oviv b'yovel. It goes back to his father in the Jubilee year. Let me explain what we're talking about over here. Reuven had a field which was an inheritance from his ancestors. Reuven's a little bit hard up, so he decides he's going to sell his field to Shimon. Okay? So he sells the field to Shimon. Now, then afterwards, Reuven's son, okay, let's call him Chanoch. Okay, Reuven's son Chanoch, he's not very happy that now this piece of land which has been in his family for generations, that's now ended up with Shimon, even for a temporary time, even up till Yovel. So he says, you know what, I'm going to buy it back. I'm going to buy it from Shimon. Okay? Now, what happens to this field now? So now who's, should we say, sitting in this field? Reuven's son Chanoch. Now he is technically he's the heir apparent, okay, for this field.
Right.
Okay? But nevertheless, as long as his father's still alive, when the Jubilee year comes, Chanoch is not going to hold on to the field when the Jubilee comes. He's going to give it back to Shimon, but Shimon's going to give it back to Reuven. So it means Chanoch's father. So Chanoch is going to give it back to his father. That's what we learn out from this passage. So each man goes back to his original owner, even if the present owner is somebody who's an heir apparent, right? He's an heir to this property. Since the father's still alive, still around, he gets the property back, and his inheritor doesn't get it.
In the Yovel
year, when the Yovel year comes. Okay.
There has to be a payment, though, I think, like Shimon has to.
No, so originally, so we say the original, since this law applies, so since they know anybody who buys this field, Shimon when he bought the field from Reuven, and similarly Chanoch when he bought the field from Shimon, they realized that the acquisition was only up to the Yovel year, so they will pay accordingly. Just like nowadays, I mean, it doesn't really thing, but technically many, I don't know if how much it still applies, but certainly, technically my apartment, I only bought with a 49-year lease or a 99-year lease, I don't remember.
Right.
So what do you buy property here?
Goes back.
How does it get back to Yehuda? I'm in Benjamin territory.
Sorry?
Are we in Benjamin's territory? Or Yehuda's territory? Where it
No,
goes
right
reverse?
now, I couldn't tell you exactly.
So, that money on
Benjamin's
property,
territory.
I've got a property, so what happens?
So anyway,
So
it
we'll
doesn't
apply
apply
here.
now.
Rashid comes
Wherever it
up.
doesn't apply now,
Rashid
therefore
comes
it's
up.
yours. Unless you have to, whatever the land registry has stipulated when you, the small print which you probably didn't read when you bought your apartment, right, tells you that your ownership is limited to the lease which you had, and then when it comes at the end of the 49 years or the 99 years or whatever it is, you've got to now pay another certain amount to the land registry in order to be able to extend that lease.
Well, like Yoni said, if you decide that you don't want it, do they have to buy it back from you, or it automatically goes back to them?
I don't know. But most people are not going to waste their money. If they spent a few million shekel on an apartment.
The time runs out.
Right. The time runs out, I say, okay,
It's not mine forever.
That's the original timeshare.
So it's not mine forever.
No, I mean, there's two things in it. It's what the Torah
We'll go back to your
prescribes
inheritance.
and what the law of the land here right now, where we're not living up here. Well, the Ma'aseh Yovel doesn't apply nowadays because we don't have the majority of the Jewish
But when he
people.
does, we know now, maybe 20 years, 30 years.
But when Yovel will be reinstituted, then all transactions of land will henceforth be governed by the laws of Yovel, and therefore a person, when he buys a property, it will only be up to the Yovel year.
Please God, let it be today.
So I should have got
It's not a
rental. I should have got rental then.
Right. Oh, you mean you bought rather than buying it?
Yeah.
If a person has property in Eretz Yisrael, he fulfills a mitzvah every second. Owning property in Eretz Yisrael.
Rental's not property.
Not the same. Okay,
So what
Shlomo,
does that do?
we haven't finished yet. We still got a time for one more passage. Possibly a Dalit.
The key Timkaru the Vikar Amitecha O Kano Miyad Amitecha Al Tonu Ish Et Achim.
Right.
And because
No, not if, the chiv.
and if you will sell from the
Not mimkar. Mimkar is an object of sale. Mimkar, a saleable object.
saleable object
Lami sechet,
to
your fellow
your
man.
fellow man, or you will purchase from the hand of your fellow man.
Right.
See,
Al
you
tonu,
won't
do not.
claim.
This is
Do not claim.
No, do not swindle. Isha
Do not
sechet.
swindle a
One
man
his
or his
brother.
brother.
Right. This is, you're not allowed to swindle each other.
Oh,
Okay.
I would
So Rashi is going to
I
explain.
think you wouldn't. Yeah, okay.
Chesed.
B'kei Timkaru, etc. Nafi Pashuto Shemishba'o.
Kamashmo. The simple explanation means literally means when you sell a object to your fellow man
Should be free and clear.
or buy an object from your fellow man, then make sure each one the other doesn't swindle, deceive the other. And there's certain halachas which are out from there that there's a certain margin towards this is actually when selling objects, not applying to land. But when you sell objects, there's certain, sway for how much you can pay for this product. Let's say you buy a product which everybody knows in most stores is worth 10 shekel, okay?
Yeah.
Well, that's an easy example. 20 shekel, okay? Then you're not allowed to charge more than sixth of the going price. But that sixth really means a fifth.
No.
Because it means that if you add a sixth, you add a fifth, then
You mean,
what has been added is the sixth of the
So you
total.
add it to the total.
So that means that if you sell something for 20, the price of 20 shekel, you can't sell it for more than 24 shekel. But if it's sold up to 24 shekel, the buyer can't say, "Whoa, you swindled me."
Oh.
Unless it's been such a fixed price that everywhere, like there's government fixing or something like that. Could be then, as far as the Torah says, something which is generally has a fixed going price, but there is a little bit of a sway one way or another, up to a sixth, which is a sixth on the outside, which is a fifth of the original price. That's how much you can charge. Anything above that, it charges him 25 shekel. The guy comes in and says, "Hey, you swindled me." Then he can charge a no sale. Something which is worth 20 shekel. And you charge him 25 shekel, the guy can come back to the seller and says, "You charge him 25 shekel, this is only worth 20 shekel. No sale. I can give it back to you, sale's cancelled, finished." If he charges him 24 shekel, then he has a choice. He can say, he can, what I mean is that the seller can say, "Mr. Buyer, you've got to keep it," right? Meaning the sale is a sale, but I'll give you all the difference of the 4 shekel back. And if he charges him 23.99, right? Then he's saying it's too bad. I didn't charge you a sixth. Sale is a sale, is standing. Nothing you can do about it. Sale stands. That's it. Okay. With this, we'll have to stop here. To be continued tomorrow.